So hello and welcome to this Adobe Animate tutorial. In this video we are going to write a JavaScript and I'm going to explain you the scope. And scope basically is like the accessibility of the variables. So for example, if you are going to declare some variable in some kind of function, are you going to have the access for the variable in all of your code or only in the function, and so on. So that's what we are going to be talking about, and this is very important. And when I learned this, it was like very useful for me in the next projects. And I have this very simple example with this kind of arrows, and if I click on them, the shape is going to move to the right like so, and if I click on this one, the shape is going to move to the left. But this is like not the point of this tutorial. The point of this tutorial is the scope, and this is just an example with a little bit of the graphics. One thing that I want to say at the beginning is that I am not yet a professional with the JavaScript. I am still learning, but this topic is something that for now I know. So yeah, this is what we are going to be doing, and right now we can start. Alright, so right now I'm in the Adobe Animate and I'm going to choose any width and height. So for example, I can go with 500 by 500, but you can choose anything. I want this to be HTML5 canvas. Frame rate is fine as it is, and I am just going to click create. Now I am in the window workspace essentials, so if you want to have everything exactly as I have, you can go with this one, but yeah. So now, before we are going to do any graphics or anything, we are going to go directly to the code. So I have the layer 1. If I want, I can double click on this and I can rename this to be code, but that's optional. And I am going to just right click and I am going to choose actions. This is going to open me this text editor, and you can adjust this as you want, like so, but yeah. And I am going to zoom in with control or command and mouse wheel so you can see this a little bit better. If I, for example, go with let score, and I'm going to set the score to be equal to 0, for example. Now what I could do is I can go with console.log and I can console.log the score like so. I can go with Control Enter or Command Enter to see this in the browser. I'm going to have the blank page because I don't have any graphics. But if I go with right click and inspect, or if you go with F12 on the Google Chrome, you are going to have the console and you are going to have your console in here. This is like the error which if I refresh this is not going to be there. So yeah, and yeah. Now I am going to go back to the code with F9, and for example what I could do is I can right now change the score, so I can type that score plus plus, for example. This is going to increase the score by 1, and right now the score is going to be 1, and so on. So yeah, like this, and yeah. I can, for example, set that the score is going to be equal to be 20 or 29 or anything, and it is going to be working fine. But if I have let, or if I have the const, these are like two ways right now to declare the variables in the JavaScript. There is also var, but that's something which you shouldn't use. Because that's like the old way of declaring variables. But when I have let score is equal to be 0, I can rewrite the variable score. So I could go either with score plus plus as I showed you, or I can say that the score is going to be equal to 29 or anything, but I cannot redeclare the variable in the same scope. Okay, and I will explain in the moment what is the same scope. But if I would go, for example, right now, let score is equal to 0, and then I go let score is going to be 29, we are going to get an error, okay? And the error is going to be that the score already has been declared. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this like so, and I'm going to create a function which is going to be like the update score. So I'm going to type function, and I'm going to type update score like so, with the capital S, but that's optional, but yeah. And I'm just going to go like the normal function, so parentheses, curly parentheses, and yeah. And for example, in this function, I can update the score, so I can go with score plus plus, and I can maybe duplicate this 3 times like so. And by the way, the semicolon is optional in the JavaScript. You do not need to have this, you can have this, but yeah. So I am going to have score plus plus, so it's going to be 1, it's going to be 2, and then it's going to be 3. And if I am going to console.log score in the function, it is going to console.log me the number 3. When we have the functions, we need to call the function because otherwise it's not going to do anything. So I am just going to call this with the name of the function and the parentheses like so. And right now, if I go with Control Enter, or Command Enter, we are going to have the 3. We are also going to have the 0 at the beginning because in here we are console logging the score also. I can get rid of this for the moment. Okay, now imagine that I am not going to declare the variable let's score outside of the function in the main scope. So I'm going to get rid of this. I can just comment this out // So this is like it's not even there, like JavaScript is going to ignore this. And I'm going to declare the variable let score inside of the function. So I'm going to say that let score is going to be equal to be 0. And yeah, and then I'm going to update the score by 1, and then I am going to console.log the score. Okay, right now this is going to be working the same way. We are going to have the 3. But if I would try to access the variable score, I am going to cut this console.log score and I'm going to put it in here like so. Right now we are going to have an error because if I declare the variable like in here, let score is equal to be 0 inside of the function, and right now I'm declaring it in the function update score, then this variable is going to be only for that function. Okay, so if I'm going to have, for example, some kind of if statement like so, if I can use the score in there, but I cannot use the score outside of the function. Okay, so right now if I'm going to console.log score and I will go with Control Enter, Command Enter, I am going to have an error that score is not defined. Okay, so yeah, so as I said, if you declare the variable in the function, the variable is going to be only for the function. Now if I would like to be able to access this outside of the function, what I need to do is I need to declare it outside. So I'm going to declare it in the main scope. So let score is going to be equal to 0. I am going to get rid of this like so. Then I am just updating the score. So score plus plus, score plus plus, and then I am calling the function. And then after calling the function, I am console.logging the score. Right now we are going to be able to access the score because we have declared it outside of the functions in the main scope. We have updated it inside of the function, but that's fine. So yeah, so right now if I go with Control Enter, Command Enter, I am going to have the 3. Now I could possibly go ahead and redeclare the score inside of the function. So if I go right now, I can type let score is going to be equal to 0, and this is going to be working just fine. As I showed you, I can comment out this line of code. If I have let score is equal to 0 and I would try to redeclare this, so I'm going to type let score is going to be equal to 5. We are going to have an error because the score has been already declared. But I can have the let score outside of the function, and then in the function I can have new variable which is going to have the same name. Let score is going to be equal to 0, and that's fine. But now what is going to happen? I have let score is going to be equal to 0. Okay, then I have the function update score, and I have one more time let score is going to be equal to 0. Then I am increasing the score by 1 3 times, so 1 2 and 3. And then I am going to try to console.log score outside of that function. Now First of all, I am going to cut this and I am going to console.log score inside. So right now the score is going to be 3 because we have let score is going to be 0, is going to be 1, is going to be 2, it's going to be 3. So we are going to console.log number 3 like so, and yeah. But if I would try to console.log the score outside of the function like so. So I will go in here. Right now the score is going to be 0 because we have one score. Let's score in the main scope, which is going to be 0. Then I have the let's score in the function. So this is like the different variable, and we are right now increasing the score which is inside of the function. And the score in here is not going to be changed. Okay, so right now if I console.log score in here like so, this is going to be 0. This can be maybe a little bit confusing, hopefully not, but this is how this is going to be working. Okay, so yeah, now I am going to comment out all of this, and we are going to do something a little bit with some kind of graphics, with something a little bit clickable. So I am going to comment multiple lines of the code, and I can do this with the slash and asterisk, and I can do this with the asterisk and slash. This is just going to end the comment. This is going to start the comment like so. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to get a rectangle tool, and I am going to create a new layer, and I am going to put this layer below the code, and actually I am going to log the code layer, so I do not want to draw anything on the code layer. So if I would be on the code layer, it's not going to allow me to draw shapes in there because I want to have the code separated from the graphics. So I will go to this layer number 2, you can rename this, and I am going to get the rectangle tool, and yeah, and I will go to the properties. Sometimes it doesn't appear in here, so I will try to draw like so, and I will go back. So when you go to the rectangle tool, you should have the option for the fill and for the stroke, but sometimes it doesn't appear there automatically. But yeah, I will go to the fill, and I'm going to choose blue color, and I will go to the stroke, and I will get rid of this like so, and with the shift I am just going to create a shape like so. Now I will have to convert this shape to the symbol to be able to access this with the JavaScript. So I will go to the modify, convert to symbol or F8, and I can call this to be blue, for example. This name has nothing to do with the JavaScript. This is just the name for the library. I want this to be a movie clip. The registration point doesn't really matter, and I am just going to click OK. And now the important thing is this name, the instance name. This is the name by which we are going to be targeting this with the JavaScript. So I can call this to be blue, for example. And on this same layer, I am going to create some kind of arrows. So I will go to this line tool like so. This is just going to give me option for the stroke. So I can go maybe with something like 40 something. And with the shift, I am just going to draw something like this and something like this. This is really ugly. I will try one more time, but I don't mind. So something like this. This is just an example. So yeah, and I am going to select this, and I am going to go with F8, and I am going to call this to be arrow, for example, and I am going to click OK, and I am going to put this up like so, and I am going to duplicate this. So I am going to hold Alt or Option to duplicate this, and I am going to hold Shift to stay on the same line. So I will just duplicate this like so, and right now this one I am going to rotate. So I will go with Q, free transform tool, and I am just going to rotate this like so, and I am going to hold Shift. And right now we are going to create an instance names. So this one is going to be arrow left, for example, and this one is going to be arrow right, like so. And yeah, so we have three things. We have one arrow which has instance name arrow left. This one has the instance name arrow right, and this one is blue. So now what I'm going to do, after all of these comments, I am just going to create an even listener for the left arrow. So I'm going to type this. This refers like to the timeline. So this timeline, arrow left, and we want to have this on. We want to have this on click. and the function that we are going to call after we are going to click is going to be, for example, move left. This name is optional, and yeah. And one thing that we need to add in here is dot bind this, like so. Bind this is basically going to allow me to write keyword this inside of the functions, like I have in here. Without that, I wouldn't be able to do that. But yeah, I'm going to create the function, so I will type function and move left. You can call this anything. And right now what I'm going to do is I am going to type that this dot blue dot x is going to be minus equal 50, for example. Okay, and I will go with Control Enter, and every time that I'm going to click on this left arrow, it is going to move this shape by 50, like so. I can go with F12 to make sure that I don't have any error, but yeah, I don't have. Basically, we have right now this even listener on this arrow left, and we are calling the move left function, and in the move left we have this minus equal 50. Minus equal 50 means that every time that I am going to click, it is going to move 50 pixels to the left. I could put this to the variable, so I can type let new position, for example, is going to be equal to this blue x. So I am just going to copy this, so I am just going to put it like so, that the new position is going to get the x position of the blue one. So a new position is going to be this blue dot x minus 50, like so, the way as we have in here. And then what I can do is I can type that blue, not blue, but this dot blue dot x is going to be equal to new position, like so. Okay, so we are just going to put this to the variable, like so. And right now if I go with Control Enter and I'm going to click on this, it is going to do the same thing. So hopefully this makes sense. I just have the new position. For example, at the beginning, the blue 1x is going to be 250, so it's going to be in the middle. And new position, when I click, is going to be 250 minus 50, which is going to be 200. So we are going to set that this blue x is going to be 200. And when I click one more time, new position is going to be this blue 1x, which is right now 200 minus 50, so it's going to be 150. So it's going to position me this blue x to be 150. Okay, what I could do is I can at the beginning say that this dot blue dot x is going to be equal to 250. So right now, if I am going to position this anywhere like so, it is going to put me this to the center. And one thing that I can do is I can click anywhere, I can go to the stage, and I can just change the color of the stage to something which is not white. So we are going to be able to see where is the canvas. And what I could do right now, for example, if I go back to my code, is I can console.log new position every time. So I am just going to console.log this, Control C, Control V, like so. And when I click first time, it was like 250, but we are going to change this to 200 and so on. So yeah, I will click. We are going to have 200, 150, 100 and so on. But now what I'm going to do is I am going to copy all of this code. So I'm going to go with Control C and I'm going to paste this in here, Control V. And we are going to right now go with the arrow right. And we are going to put arrow right on click, and we are going to call the function which is going to be move right, like so. And bind this, and then I will have to change the function, so this is going to be move right. And in here, the only thing that we are going to change is that new position is going to be this blue x plus 50. Okay, so if the x was at 250, it's going to be plus 50, so it's going to be 300 and so on. So if I go with Control Enter, right now I am going to click on this and it's going to be 300, 350, 200, 300, 250 and so on. But the point of this is that right now I have the let new position the function move right, and this let new position is going to be only for this function. And then I have let new position for the move left, and this new position is going to be only for that function. So right now, if I would go outside of these functions, so for example, I will go at the bottom like so, and I'm going to try to console.log new position, and I am just going to copy this like so. We have declared new position 2 times. We have declared it in the move right function, we have declared it in the move left function, but we are not going to have access to any of those variables outside of those functions. So right now, if I go with console.log new position, I am going to have an error that the new position is not defined. Okay. So yeah, the same thing would be if, for example, I would create some kind of button. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to get a rectangle tool. The color really doesn't matter, but I will get rid of the stroke, and I'm just going to create a button, and I'm going to get some text, and this text is going to be like check position, but I'm just going to type check, and I'm going to convert this to the symbol. So I'm going to select this, I will go with F8, and I'm going to call this to be btn check. One more time, this name has nothing to do with the JavaScript, but I am going to copy this because I am going to put the same name as an instance name, so this is going to be btn check. And what I could do right now is I am going to get rid of this console.log, and I'm going to type that this.btn check, and we are going to have this on, and we are going to have this on click, and we are going to call the function which is going to be check position, for example. And one more time, I will go with dot bind, and we are going to bind this like so. Be careful with this bind this to have the parentheses like correctly, because you need to have the parentheses in here like so, and in here like so. So it can happen that you are going to have this accidentally like so. So yeah, but yeah, and in this function check position, I am just going to copy this and I'm going to create the function check position, and I am going to try to console.log new position in here like so. So when I click on the btn check, I would like to console.log new position. But in this function, in this check position, we are not one more time going to have an access for the new position. So if I go with Control Enter and I'm going to click on the check one more time, new position is not defined. Okay. But if I, for example, right now, I'm going to change this little bit. So I am going to declare the variable new position outside. So I'm going to type let new position, for example, and I am just going to declare this. Okay, I am not going to put any value to the new position. I am just going to set let new position, and then inside of this move left and move right, I am not going to declare this one more time, but I am going to get rid of the let, and I am going to get rid of the let like so. Right now I am going to have the access to the new position in this function. I am going to have the access in there in move right function. I am going to have the access in the check position, and I'm also going to have access outside of the functions. So I'm going to have access to that anywhere. So for example, right now what I could do is I can try to console.log new position outside of the functions. So somewhere here, I'm just going to type console.log, and we are going to console.log new position. Before we had an error that the new position is not defined. Right now we are going to have the console.log, and it's going to be undefined. So I will go with Control Enter, and I will go with F12, and this is going to be undefined. The reason why this is going to be undefined is that at the beginning we said like let the new position let the new position, and we have nothing. So this is just declared. We are not going to have an error, but it's not defined. But if I would put this to be like 100, for example, like so, right now I would have the console.log which is going to be 100. But I am not going to do this like so, so I am just going to, and accidentally I have two semicolons. This could create the error, but yeah. But I am just going to put it like so, so let the new position, and I am not going to be console.logging this in here like so. But right now the thing is going to be working the same way. So I have new position, I have declared it outside, and then when I go to the move left function, if I click, I am going to set new position to be this blue one x, which was like 250 minus 50, so it's going to be 200. So we are going to put this blue x to 200, and the same thing, I'm not going to re-explain this in the move right. So yeah, right now this is going to be working the same way, like so and like so and like so. But right now, if I am going to click on the check button, it is going to have the access to the new position, okay? Because I do not want to repeat myself, but we have declared this new position outside. We are changing it in the move left and move right functions, but because we have declared it outside of the functions, we have access to that in all of the functions. So I can go console.log new position like so, and it is going to have this. So one more time, if I go ahead and check this. Right now this is undefined. If I would set it at the top to be 250, it would be 250, but it's undefined because it has not value, but we have access to that. But if I click on this is going to be 300. I will check, it's 300. I will go like this, 350, check 350, and so on. So yeah. Basically this is the scope. This what I was talking about is like the function scope. Now I am not going to show you more examples, but I just want to show you that there is like more to the scope. So I'm not going to show you more like examples with the graphic, but for the moment I am going to comment out all of this code. So I'm going to go with slash and asterisk, and I'm going to go with asterisk and slash. So yeah, this is something that I can provide you, and in here I can put like example with shape and arrows like so. So yeah, I'm going to provide you this, so at least you are going to know example with shapes and arrows, and I can copy this, and at the beginning this is going to be example with console.log like so, okay? But now I can go to the bottom, and for example, if I'm going to have the if statement, because the thing is that the scope is for the function. So if you have some kind of function and you are going to declare the variable in the function, so function say hello like so, and I'm going to create a variable one more time. Let's score is going to be equal to 0. We are going to have the access to this variable only inside of the function. But the same thing is for example for the if statement. So if I'm going to have if, and I would have something like if score is going to be bigger than 5, and I'm going to go inside, and in here I'm going to say that let new position is going to be equal to 100. One more time, this new position is going to be only for this if statement, okay? If you are going to have some kind of for loop, so I can go, for example, for let I is going to be equal to 0, while I is going to be smaller than 10, and I plus plus, and I'm going to declare let new position inside of the for loop. This new position is going to be only for the for loop, okay? So this is called like the block scope, because this is like the block of the code. Then you have like the function scope that it's like for the function, but the point is the same. But let's try to create some kind of example. Also there is the function and there is like if statement. So I am going to create a variable. So let is playing, for example, and I'm going to make this equal to true. Okay, so this is just a boolean value, so is playing is going to be true. And then I'm going to type if is playing, like so. So I'm just going to copy this if is playing, and you do not need to go if is playing is equal to true. You can go just if is playing. This is like if is playing is true. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to right now without the graphic, but I'm going to say let new position is going to be equal to 100, like so. And then I'm just going to console.log this new position. So I am just going to console.log this, Control C, Control V, and yeah. So we have no other code, we have everything else commented out. So we have only this one. We have variable let is playing, it's true. So we are going to have some kind of condition. If is playing is true, it is true. Then we are going to set the variable let the new position is 100, and we are going to try to console.log this. And right now, if I go with Control Enter, Command Enter, we are going to have this 100. But if I would go outside of the if statement, so I am going to cut this and I'm going to paste this in here. So right now I am outside of this and this space is like you can have as much space as you want. But right now if I'm going to try to access this new position outside of this if statement, I am going to have an error because new position is not defined. Okay, but let's go a little bit further. Let's create the function. I'm going to call the function to be, for example, game, like so, and I will go with parentheses. I will go with curly braces, and in the function I am going to put this if statement, and I can with the tab put this like so. So we are going to have if is playing, let the new position is 100. Okay, right now this new position is only for the if statement, so of course you are not going to have the access for the variable outside of the function, because this is like you are not even going to have this the access to this variable in the same function where is the if statement. So right now we are still going to have the error. Let me see one more time. Okay, because I have to call the function. I was wondering why I don't have any error. So I'm going to call the function game, and we are going to have an error. New position is not defined. The same thing is if I'm going to try to access this completely outside of the function. This is not going to work either way. But for example, right now, if I go in here and I'm going to set that let new position is going to be equal to 200, for example, like so. And if in the if statement, I am just going to change this. So I'm not going to redeclare this, but I am going to say new position is going to be 100. And I'm going to console.log this inside of the function, but outside of the if statement. So in the function, we have let new position, then we have if statement, which is going to like change the new position, and we are console.logging new position. Then we are going to have the access for this like so. So yeah, but still we have declared this in the function. So outside of the function, we are not going to have the access for this. So console.log new position outside is going to give us an error. But if I would right now declare this let new position outside of the function, so I'm just going to cut this like so, and I'm going to put it in here. So we have declared it outside of the function. Then we have some kind of function. In the function we have if statement, and in the if statement we are changing this. Then we are going to have the access to this new position inside of the function. So I can cut this and I can paste this like so, and we are going to have the access to 100. like so. And the same thing if I go right now outside of the function like so, we are still going to have access to this because this was declared outside of the function like so. So yeah, basically this is it for this tutorial. This was when I learned this very useful for me to know how these variables are going to work. So you can play with this. I can provide you this animate file, and I'm also going to comment out this last part, and this is just going to be example. I'm going to go with // and this is going to be example with if statement like so. Hopefully I'm not going to misspell this, but yeah. So yeah, in this tutorial I am not going to show you like how you can publish in Adobe Animate or something like this. I have other tutorials about that, so you can go ahead and check the channel. But I just wanted to show you this scope. So yeah, one more time, as I told you at the beginning, I am not yet professional with the JavaScript, but this is something that I know. So if I made any error, you can write me that in the comments. But I think that yeah, I showed you with the errors, when this is going to be working, when this is not going to be working. So yeah, so if anyone have been here until the end, you can write me that in the comments. That would mean a lot to me. And yeah, thank you very much one more time. Have a nice day and goodbye.